Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is my first video that I've uploaded. The reason why I'm doing this video is that my buddy Chris, Tunesfromthemancave, did a vinyl challenge. Tunes Tag 2021, jazz vinyl tag. And it's basically, it's a series of questions that is asked, and you answer, what albums you pick, etc., etc., etc. So, without further ado, let's get started. Album that got you into jazz? Well, for me, it's easy. Horace Silver, Song for My Father. This is a first stereo pressing. I've owned this since 2009. Which is around the time I got out of vinyl. Quick story, I used to shop at a store in Dallas called CD World, which no longer exists. A clerk there who became a buddy of mine, his name's Dave, was playing this album over the stereo. Now, I knew it was jazz when I walked in, but I was like, wow, what is this? This is really awesome. Told me it was Horace Silver, Song for My Father, and within 3 tracks I bought the CD. And it served its purpose, but I was like, damn it, I really want a vinyl copy. So in Dallas and around the area, they have a chain of stores called Half Price Books, which are books, music, etc. And they always have a pretty extensive vinyl collection, depending on what store you go to. They had a 70s pressing, and I picked it up, and it kind of filled the need, but it was like, okay, well, I'll keep looking. Literally 3 weeks later, same location, this bad boy came in, and it was $12, and I jumped on it, and it's been my copy ever since. Hopefully I'll upgrade it because it's starting to show its age a little bit. It's been played, it's been loved, but I'll still keep it if I get the upgrade. So, first jazz album you ever bought? Now, that was a tough one because I bought that one around the same time, but I chose this one. Mose Allison, Local Color. This is actually an upgrade pressing to the one that I had, which was my copy originally was a second pressing, Burkittsville, New Jersey. This is a New York pressing, so first pressing. Beautiful copy. Funny thing about this is one of those albums that's really hard to find a nice condition copy of, and when they do, they go for big money. So you kind of at times have to settle for what you get. But this copy plays really beautifully. Picked it up on eBay a couple months ago. I'm happy to have it back in my collection, and it actually just got played earlier tonight. So. Album you own on Blue Note. This is a recent acquisition. It's Lee Morgan Sidewinder. First pressing mono. Picked it up from Slow Low Vinyl in New Mexico. It's got a couple marks on it, but it plays reasonably well. This cover did not look like this. It had some scuff marks on it, but what I did, I only recommend if you are among the bold, and especially if it's a glossy cover and only if it's a lighter cover. I used a little bit of 91% alcohol to clean off the scuffing, and obviously the results speak for themselves. But again, use at your own risk. But beautiful copy. If I can upgrade this down the line, I will. But this is fine as it is. Record you own on Prestige. I chose Sit Down and Relax with Jimmy Forrest. This album I actually stumbled on via YouTube, and I was playing music in the background, which I typically do when I'm at home, and this album was randomly picked by YouTube, and loved it. And Slow Low was doing another one of their vinyl sales that they do on Thursdays and Fridays, and this one popped up, and I got it. It's a clean enough copy. It's got some age to it, but it plays reasonably well, and again, these old jazz albums are damn near bulletproof. So you really have to screw them up badly for them to play like crap. Album you own on Impulse. This was actually the third album I ever bought, jazz-wise. J.J. Johnson, Proof Positive. Very interesting pressing because it's a mono jacket with a stereo sticker label and transitional label. Discogs doesn't even list this one, so kind of a weird one. But I actually picked this one up through Slolo as well. My original copy got lost over the years, so I went a long time without it being in my collection. Came in today with today's haul from them, and I'm very happy to have it back in my life. And final note, if you're a new collector and you're getting into jazz stuff, look this one up. It won't break the bank, and believe me, you'll enjoy it. Records you own on a small jazz label. Well, technically, I don't know if this could be considered a small label, but it's the best I got, so humor me. Undercurrent. Bill Evans, Jim Hall. This is on United Artists Jazz. First stereo pressing. Acquired this fairly recently. Beautiful copy. It's only got one problem. I don't know if you can see that, how well you can see that. It's got a little bit of a booger down here. Actually, this album I did not discover on my own. I've got two people to shout out on this one. The guy that started this vinyl tag, Chris, Tunes from the Man Cave, and Dylan from Noble Records. Dylan actually had this album in his 20 or 25 jazz albums you need to own. Cover it caught me instantly. I loved it, and so I gave it a shot, and it's great. And it exposed me to Bill Evans, so definitely looking to add more of his stuff to my collection. But if you don't own this album, originals can get kind of spendy. Look for a remaster. It's a great album. Add it to your collection. Record not many know about, but they should. Now, this one is kind of a weird one because you guys will definitely know if you're into jazz, or at least reasonably know music. You'll know the names, but you may not know the label. Stanley Tureen, Cherry with Milt Jackson. This is on the CTI Records label. Not as well known a record label, but in the later days, a lot of the big guys from like the Blue Note, Prestige, etc. A lot of them made albums for this company, or for this label. If you know anything about blaxploitation movies like Shaft and stuff like that, the sound is very similar that you can see on those movies to the stuff that's on this stuff. Great freaking album, like almost anything on this label, and you can get them dirt cheap. I picked this up for like $8 on eBay, and it's an original pressing. Definitely a must-have if you're starting to get into vinyl, jazz, etc. Or just if you just want a really good album that's not going to break the bank to add to your collection already. Highly recommend this one. Album you bought at a brick and mortar store. Now, technically, I did buy this at a brick and mortar store, but it's kind of cheating because I still had to buy it online. John Coltrane, Both Directions at Once, the Lost album. This one came from Dylan at Noble Records. I learned about this album about 2 months ago and wanted it badly, and found Dylan had it for sale at his store. Purchased it through his online store and got it 4 days later. So Dylan, thank you, man. I'm glad I was able to support you. Favorite record you bought in 2020? Now, technically, this is kind of fudging a little bit because I wasn't into vinyl at that point. I only got into it back into it a few months back. But hopefully the title makes up for it. Bam. John Coltrane, Love Supreme. First stereo pressing. Beautiful, beautiful copy. I actually got this one about 2 weeks ago from a dealer out of Sweden. This album has skyrocketed in recent years. I just watched the same exact pressing sell online today with Storage Warp, or excuse me, yesterday, with Storage Warp for over $500. I got this for $280, and this thing is immaculate. I will simply say this, for the new collectors, definitely if you're looking for rare stuff, even the veteran collectors, look at Discogs and check out the sellers out of Europe. Believe me, you'll save money in the end, and I think you'll be happier, because eBay is a real minefield right now. And I can't say enough about this album. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's on regular rotation. What else can be said? It's the man. I mean, what else can be said? Album that was gifted to you or a friend found. So this one, a friend did not give it to me. Hopefully, that'll change and I'll be gifted an album. But this one was definitely recommended to me, so I'll count that. Chris, again, buddy, you're kind of making the list here a couple times, but what the hell, right? Yusef Lateef, A flat, G flat, and C. This is an original stereo pressing. Beautiful for use for an album of this age. Beautiful copy. I actually got this at a buy it now price for $18 on eBay about 3 weeks ago. It was listed as one that had some minor possible playback problems. It was just a few paper scuffs. Got it, cleaned it, and it plays beautifully. Chris, I can see why you like Yusef. If there's any other titles that you might suggest from him that you would recommend, gladly send them my way. I will gladly add more of him to my collection. Album you bought online. So this one came today, along with the J.J. Johnson. For those of you that are getting into jazz, I know Blue Notes are getting expensive, and they get more expensive every month. But this one is absolute fire, and you can get it at a really good price. The Ornette Coleman Trio at the Golden Circle Stockholm, Volume 1. I got this one from Slolo. Beautiful example. Put it on earlier. Plays absolutely beautifully. It's an original mono. I will simply say this. This is definitely one of those albums. It's definitely a diamond in the rough compared to some of the others, because everybody's after, Blue Train and basically there's so many other Blue Note titles that are out there that attract so much more attention. This one is still reasonably affordable, and it's a hell of an album. So I got this one for $100, and it was a really nice example. But you can get them for between $40 to $60 typically. Album you hope to find in 2021. It's kind of a two-part question. The first one is Art Blakey and the Afro Drum Ensemble. I stumbled on this album through a sale that Slolo did, and I missed out on it. Reached out to Chris, again, Tunes from the Man Cave, and he said, listen to it, I think you'll enjoy it. Sure enough, he was right, and I've been searching for a copy ever since. So, we'll see what happens there. The other one is another Coltrane album. It's Giant Steps. Giant Steps is one of those I'm taking my time to find the right copy, because it's a more expensive album, and first pressings go for a crap load of money. I'll sell for a second if I have to, but that's what I'm going to take my time on. I'm going to probably go for the Blakey before I go for the Coltrane. The final question I'm about to get to, but there's an honorable mention, which I didn't add to the list. I omitted it because I don't have one. Any album you own on Riverside. I don't own any Riverside albums yet, but there's a couple Monks releases that I've got my eyes on. And the final question is, Desert Island Jazz album. In other words, an album that you would, the one album you'd be okay with staying on the desert island with. That one's an easy one, and I've already showed it. John Coltrane, Love Supreme. I cannot stress how much this album has made a difference in my broadening my musical tastes. The story behind this album just adds that much more appeal to it. For any of you that don't know, Coltrane died in his 40s, which is quite young. The man suffered with an addiction problem for many, many years. In fact, he was kicked out of the Miles Davis Quintet because of his problem. And he attributes his finding of religion to saving him. And this album was his tribute to the man upstairs. And the story behind it was, in a nutshell, according to his wife, he put himself up in the top floor of the house that they lived in and came down to eat, but that was about it. And then about a week or so later, it was like Moses coming out with the Ten Commandments. He had this album ready. They did it in one take, is my understanding, and it's just, there's not much else that can be said. I mean, there's so much more that could be said, but it wouldn't do it justice. I would gladly be stuck on a desert island with this album. I mean, I listen to it probably, once every 2 days. It's just one of those albums that just truly brings me a lot of happiness and a lot of peace. And again, I'm so happy that I've got it in my collection again, finally. So, with that being said, that's the questionnaire. Chris, thank you for putting this out to the vinyl community. It's been fun. I hope to participate again next year, and hopefully I can add more videos to this channel. I've got two grails coming, so hopefully I can make a video for that. And for those of you that will have watched, thank you for taking the time to watch my video. Have a great day. Enjoy the music. Enjoy your life, and we'll talk again soon.